Well, hello, and welcome back to another video. Today we will be reviewing a Netflix series called The Haunting. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy. The show carries the central theme of memory as well as the past, and it showcases how several characters are haunted by this. Seeing how some characters will try and escape their past while others won't let go. The series begins as we are introduced to Jamie, who tells the story of her deceased lover, Danny, and all the staff that worked up in Bly Manor in the 80s. Danny is haunted by the ghost of her ex-fiancé, who tragically died several years ago prior, and she moved to the UK in order to get away from this. Her ghost has followed her since this moment, and she's desperately trying to escape him and her past. I love the character's arc in the show actually stems from Henry, and he oversees his brother's estate who sadly died before the events of the series. It's revealed that Henry had an affair with his sister-in-law.
Are you serious?
And that he is actually the father of Flora, one of the children that live at the Bly Manor. Because of his guilt over this, Henry has mentally manifested a darker version of himself that he has to live with instead of facing up to the fact that he should take responsibility for both Flora and her brother Miles. He stays in his office, ringing the manor in hopes that one day he will have the guts to tell the truth. Peter, who one could call the winner of the show, he's not only trying to escape the abuse that he suffered as a child, but he also refuses to let go of one good thing in his life, that is Rebecca. He manipulates Rebecca into dying too because he refuses to let go of her. Peter even takes Rebecca to some of their happier moments in order to make it seem like they will live like that forever. Peter doesn't understand the difference between love and possession, and this becomes literal when he and Rebecca try to take over the children's bodies in order to escape the grounds. Rebecca doesn't go through with this, and she becomes one of the first characters to truly break the cycle that so many of them end up becoming the victim to an ex-character. Hannah is a ghost who can't escape her death because of the repercussions it would have on her mentally. She lives moments of her life almost simultaneously jumping from the past to the future, and due to her inability to accept her fate, she is truly unable to hold on to any of the moments that she experiences. It is revealed that spirits within the house are all sucked into a gravity well of despair caused by the Lady of the Lake. We learn that the lady was the prior owner of Bly Manor and that her sister killed her. The lady, known as Viola, wished to see her daughter more than anything, and this memory tormented her ghost for decades, ultimately becoming her driving force. In the end, Viola would lie at the bed of the lake, and every night she would wander into the house, murdering all those who cross her path in search for her daughter. After waking up dead, she walks the room and returns to her bed and then rises and repeats. It's also the reason why the children tell Danny that she mustn't go about the house in the darkness. Viola roams the halls. This idea of holding on to the past drives her mad, and the never-ending search for her daughter causes a lot of misery. The plot follows Danny as she unearths the truth about the house, including what really happened with Peter in Rebecca's death. Peter ends up possessing Miles, but Rebecca lets go of Flora, which allows Danny to escape the house. The Lady of the Lake arrives and she attempts to kill Danny and pulls her into her gravity well. Flora poses as a daughter, and due to her existing purely on instinct, she attempts to take her back to the lake. Danny gives up herself to the ghost by uttering the phrase, "It's you, it's me, it's us." This is something that had existed in the house for centuries, passed on by the inhabitants and the ghost to the living. Danny was able to invite Viola's ghost into herself. With her now living within Danny, the spirits of the house are finally released. The family, Danny and Jamie, move to the US. Danny and Jamie spend years with each other. However, Viola starts to appear in reflections, much like how Danny's ex-fiancé did. This time though, it's much worse as the ghost is in place of her, and thus the PTSD from her prior haunting starts to make her doubt whether she can remain in control. One day Danny finds herself almost strangling Jamie, and at this moment she realizes they can't risk the danger. Thus she heads back to the manor and drowns herself in the lake. Viola overpowers her, but Danny Danny holds herself at the bottom of the lake, waiting until the lady faces all memories too. Jamie spends years waiting for her to return, and we realize that she has been in fact narrating the events of Bly to Flora and the guest of her wedding. We learn that both Miles and Flora slowly forgot the events of the manor, and their memories faded as they grew old because they were able to let go of the past. The show has a very bittersweet ending with a scene that the characters have grown older and move on from the events of the series, except Jamie, who still holds out for the return of Danny. The series ends with Jamie sitting in her chair with the door open, and we see Danny's hand come into the shot. She's wearing the wedding ring that the pair bought as a symbol of their love, and finally she's returned after escaping the lake. Danny was holding Viola in place for decades. She slowly started to forget everything until there was a point in which she would finally forget about her hold over Danny and let go of her, as Danny was much younger than her and had spent centuries prior on the lake. She still has memories of her life, and the fact that she would be able to return to Jamie if she just outlasted Viola gave her a purpose, and there she remained in place. Jamie's memories of that life together is too what gave her purpose. To me, the characters weren't as interesting. The episodes that really give life to each character allowed you to get swept up in their life. I found it really difficult to engage with anyone. I love to hear your thoughts and opinions and theories on the show, so comment down below, give the thumbs up button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new. Thank you for watching.